Welcome back to Becoming Ultimate Masters. It seems like you're ready to really dive deep into this whole becoming supernatural thing.
Yeah, it's a fascinating area. It really challenges what we think we know about human potential.
Okay, so let's get into it. For this deep dive, we're mainly focusing on Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, Becoming Supernatural.
Right, and he doesn't just talk about it. He goes out and tests these ideas in some pretty intense ways.
I like that, putting it to the test.
Uh-huh.
So where do we even begin with all of this?
Well, he starts by taking us to Milarepa's cave in the Himalayas.
Milarepa's cave. Okay, why there?
Well, Milarepa was this yogi back in the 11th century, known for doing these incredible things that seemed impossible.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Dr. Dispenza was drawn to this cave because it's kind of like a metaphor. You know how we often limit ourselves based on what we believe is possible?
Oh, I see. Like we trap ourselves in our own little cave.
Exactly. So Milarepa's cave represents breaking free from those limitations.
Okay, so are we saying we can all be like superhuman like Milarepa?
Well, Dr. Dispenza's research suggests we have that potential, but it starts with understanding the connection between our mind and body.
The mind-body connection, that's a big one.
It is. And to illustrate this, he talks about Anna, a woman who was dealing with some serious health issues, even cancer.
Oh, wow. That's heavy.
Huh.
What was so special about Anna's story?
It really shows the power of the mind-body connection. She learned how her negative emotions and past traumas were actually affecting her health.
Like on a physical level.
Yeah, down to the cellular level. But here's the amazing part. She used things like meditation, visualization, and even epigenetics to reprogram her body and heal.
Hold on, epigenetics. Can you explain that a bit more?
Sure. So imagine identical twins with the same DNA. One twin lives a super healthy life, the other not so much.
Okay, I'm following.
Over time, they might develop different health problems even though their genes are identical.
Because of their lifestyle choices.
Exactly. Epigenetics is the study of how our environment and choices can actually change how our genes work.
So like we can turn certain genes on or off.
You got it. And Anna's story shows how we can actually use this to our advantage to improve our health.
This is blowing my mind. So how do we start tapping into this power?
One of the key practices Dr. Dispenza talks about is breathwork.
Breathwork, like just breathing.
Well, it's more than just breathing. He teaches a specific technique that helps release stored up emotional energy and shifts your brainwave patterns.
So we're talking about like intentionally changing our breathing to create positive changes.
Exactly. And this technique is designed to activate your sympathetic nervous system, which is usually triggered in fight or flight situations.
So instead of running from danger, we're using that same energy to unlock our potential.
You got it. And this breath work also helps move energy from the lower energy centers up to the brain.
Energy centers, is that what they call chakras?
Yeah, exactly. These energy centers are connected to different emotions and processes in the body.
So, just like we need balanced nutrition and exercise, we also need balanced energy flow.
Right, and that's a big part of what Anna did to heal. By learning to regulate her energy, she created a more harmonious flow in her body.
Okay, this is all fascinating, but does science back any of this up?
Oh, absolutely. Dr. Dispenza doesn't just rely on stories and personal experiences. He uses scientific research to support his ideas.
Like what kind of research?
He draws on neuroscience, epigenetics, and even quantum physics.
Quantum physics, that's next level stuff.
It is. And it's relevant here because he talks about these things called biophotons, which are basically tiny particles of light that living things emit.
Okay, this is where I start to get lost.
To think of it this way. The more organized the light patterns of these biophotons are, the better the communication between cells in your body.
So better communication means a healthier body.
Exactly. And Dr. Dispenza says that meditation and visualization can actually improve the quality of this communication.
Wow. So are we saying our thoughts can literally affect the light emitted by our cells?
That's what his research suggests. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole lot more to this mind-body connection.
Okay, I'm ready to dive deeper. What else is there?
Well, Dr. Dispenza takes it a step further with this idea of the quantum field, or what he calls the unified field.
Okay, hit me with it. What's the unified field?
Think of it like this giant, invisible network connecting everything in the universe.
Like a cosmic internet.
Kind of. It's this realm of pure potential where anything is possible.
So we're all connected to this field.
We are. And here's where it gets interesting. Dr. Dispenza says our thoughts and emotions are like energetic signals that we send out into this field.
So we're not just passively receiving whatever the universe throws at us. We're actively shaping our reality.
Exactly. If we're constantly thinking negative thoughts, we're attracting more negativity. But if we focus on positive emotions, we attract more positivity.
Okay, now we're talking. So how do we start sending out those positive signals? How do we tap into this quantum power?
That's where things get really exciting. Dr. Dispenza gives us some practical tools, and one of the most powerful is something called mind movies.
Mind movies. Those sound cool. What are they all about?
Imagine a vision board, but like brought to life. You create a short video with images, music, and affirmations that represent your dream life.
So it's like a mini movie that evokes all the feelings and experiences you want.
Precisely. By choosing images and sounds that resonate with your deepest desires, you create a powerful sensory experience that programs your subconscious mind.
This is blowing my mind. It's all about aligning your energy with what you want to create.
Exactly. And there are even more techniques that we'll get into later. But for now, let's take a quick break and come back to explore those in more detail. Welcome back. Last time we were talking about some pretty wild ideas from Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, Becoming Supernatural. Like the idea that our thoughts can actually change our physical reality.
Yeah, it's like we're not just along for the ride, we're actually in the driver's seat.
Exactly. And we were also talking about those biophotons, those little particles of light that living things give off.
Right, and how organized their light patterns are affects communication between cells in our body. It's like a clear channel for communication so the body can function better.
Exactly. Dr. Dispenza suggests that meditation and visualization can help make that energy more organized. It's like fine-tuning our internal communication system.
That's pretty amazing to think about. But I have to admit, I'm kind of a skeptic. Are there any real-life examples of this stuff working, like people actually getting amazing results?
Oh, absolutely. Dr. Dispenza talks about a bunch of cases in his book. One that really sticks out is the story of Ginny, a woman who had really bad lower back pain for years.
Oh, I have so many people who suffer from back pain. What happened with Ginny?
Well, she tried everything. Physical therapy, pain meds, you name it. Nothing helped. She was even scheduled for surgery.
Wow, sounds like she was desperate.
She was. But then, just a few days before her surgery, she went to one of Dr. Dispenza's workshops.
What happened at the workshop?
Well, Ginny learned how to use meditation and visualization to shift her energy and focus away from the pain. She started imagining herself as healthy and without pain, even though her body wasn't there yet.
So, like, she was creating a new blueprint for her body, a vision of herself healed.
Exactly. And it's incredible what happened. The very next day, Ginny was able to walk upright without pain for the first time in years. She actually ended up canceling the surgery.
That's amazing. It really shows you the power of the mind to heal. But how do you explain something like that scientifically?
That's a great question, and Dr. Dispenza definitely uses science to back up his ideas. He looks at research in neuroscience to help explain these kinds of amazing results.
Okay, so how does neuroscience explain the idea that our thoughts can actually affect our bodies?
Well, neuroscience tells us that when we focus on a specific thought or feeling over and over, it creates new connections in the brain. And the more we think that way, the stronger those connections get.
So it's like creating a path in the woods. The more you walk it, the easier it is to follow.
Exactly. And this works for both positive and negative thoughts. If we're always thinking about fear, those pathways become super strong. But if we focus on things like love and gratitude, we build up those pathways too.
So we're literally rewiring our brains with our thoughts. That's pretty powerful stuff.
It is. And this also brings us back to epigenetics, which we talked about earlier. Remember, it's the idea that our choices can affect how our genes work.
Yeah, like turning genes on or off.
Yeah.
But how does that relate to becoming supernatural?
Well, Dr. Dispenza points to research that shows that positive emotions, like love and joy, can actually activate genes that are good for our health.
So it's not just about changing our minds, it's about changing our biology at a really deep level.
You got it. And that's where visualization comes in. When we really imagine something we want, our brains and bodies react as if it's already happening.
So it's not just wishful thinking, it's about making those desires feel real in our minds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By using our imagination and emotions, we send these strong signals to our bodies and out to the quantum field.
Speaking of the quantum field, I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. You described it as a universal Wi-Fi network connecting everything in the universe. But how do we actually use this quantum power to create the lives we want?
Dr. Dispenza talks a lot about the importance of intention. When we set a clear intention, we're focusing all our energy on a specific goal. It's like making a decision about what we want and then aligning our thoughts and actions with that vision.
So it's like setting our internal GPS to the destination we want to reach.
Exactly. And the clearer and stronger our intention is, the stronger the signal we send out into the quantum field.
That makes me think back to mind movies. Is that one way to set a clear intention and align our energy with our desires?
Absolutely. By creating a mind movie that really shows what we want our future to look like, we're basically programming our subconscious mind with a blueprint for what we want to create.
And the more we immerse ourselves in that vision, the more likely we are to actually experience it in real life.
That's the idea. But how do we know if any of this is working? Are there any signs we should look for?
Yeah, good question. How can we tell if we're on the right track?
Dr. Dispenza says to pay attention to synchronicities.
Synchronicities. Remind me what those are.
They're those meaningful coincidences that seem to happen for a reason, those moments when it feels like the universe is working with you to make things happen.
Like when you're thinking of someone and they call you out of the blue.
Exactly. Dr. Dispenza believes synchronicities are a sign that we're in tune with our true path, that we're flowing with the energy of the universe. The more synchronicities we experience, the more we can trust that we're moving in the right direction.
So it's like the universe is giving us little winks and nods, letting us know we're on the right path.
That's a great way to put it. And it's a reminder that we're not alone on this journey. There's something bigger supporting us as we grow and reach our full potential.
I love that. So we've covered breathwork, mind movies, and the importance of intention. What other techniques does Dr. Dispenza recommend?
There's one that's really powerful for creating deep peace and well-being, the blessing of the energy centers meditation.
That sounds interesting. Tell me more about it.
It involves consciously directing energy to each of the body's energy centers, or chakras, sending them love and blessings for better health and harmony. It's not about forcing healing to happen, but creating space for the body to heal itself naturally.
So like we're giving our energy centers the nourishment they need to thrive.
Exactly. It's about surrendering to the body's own wisdom and trusting its ability to heal.
It sounds like this meditation could be really helpful for anyone who's feeling stressed or out of balance.
It definitely can be. And when you combine it with the other techniques we've talked about, it becomes even more powerful.
This has been such a fascinating exploration, and if we feel like we're just scratching the surface of becoming supernatural.
There's always more to discover. We'll explore even more of Dr. Dispenza's techniques and hear more stories of people who have used them to overcome challenges and create extraordinary lives.
Welcome back to Becoming Ultimate Masters. We've been on this incredible journey exploring Dr. Joe Dispenza's work on becoming supernatural, and it's mind-blowing to think that we can actually influence our reality with our thoughts, emotions, and energy.
It really is a whole new way of looking at things. We've talked about some powerful techniques like breath work, mind movies, and the blessing of the energy centers meditation. But now I think it's time for some more real-life stories to show us what's possible when we start using these practices.
Okay, I'm ready for some inspiration. Whose story are we going to hear about now?
Let's talk about Daniel, a man who developed this intense sensitivity to electromagnetic frequencies, or EMF sensitivity.
EMF sensitivity. That's something I've heard of, but I don't really get it. What does that even mean?
Okay, so imagine feeling physically sick whenever you're around things like cell phones, laptops, Wi-Fi routers, even just power lines. That's what people with EMF sensitivity experience. They have these reactions to the electromagnetic fields that those devices give off.
So just being near those things actually caused him pain. What kind of symptoms did he have?
For Daniel, it started with headaches, but then it got worse, like way worse. He started feeling fatigued all the time, couldn't sleep, had anxiety, even heart palpitations. It got so bad that he couldn't even leave his house without being in pain.
Wow, that sounds absolutely awful. What did he do to try and get better?
He went to doctor after doctor, had tons of tests, saw specialists, you name it, he tried it, but no one could figure out what was wrong. Some doctors even told him it was all in his head, which must have been so frustrating.
It's got to be so hard when you're suffering and no one believes you or knows how to help. Did you try any alternative therapies?
Oh yeah, he tried all sorts of things, but nothing seemed to work long term. He was at a total loss until he found Dr. Dispenza's work.
Okay, so how did that help him? How did Dr. Dispenza's teachings help him with his EMF sensitivity?
Well, Daniel went to one of his advanced workshops and learned about the mind-body connection. He started practicing the techniques, especially the blessing of the energy centers meditation and the breath work we talked about.
So he was trying to shift his focus away from the pain and fear.
Exactly. He really focused on cultivating positive emotions like gratitude, love, and wholeness. Basically, he was retraining his mind and body to react differently to those electromagnetic frequencies.
This reminds me of the concept of heart coherence that we discussed earlier. How does that tie into this?
Great question. So heart coherence is when the heart, brain, and nervous system are all working together in sync. It's like creating this inner harmony in the body. And Dr. Dispenza believes that cultivating heart coherence is crucial for making real, lasting changes.
So as Daniel practiced these techniques, he was able to reach a state of greater heart coherence, which helped calm down his stress response and made him less sensitive to those EMFs.
Exactly. And the results were pretty incredible. After a few months of consistent practice, his symptoms started to fade. He could finally go outside again, and eventually he was able to live a normal life.
That's such a powerful example of what's possible. But I know some people might still be skeptical. Are there any other stories that show this idea of becoming supernatural in action?
There's the story of Stacy, a woman who was diagnosed with an acoustic neuroma.
What's an acoustic neuroma?
It's a non-cancerous tumor that grows on the nerve that connects the ear to the brain.
Oh, wow, that sounds scary. What kind of symptoms did she have?
She was losing her hearing, had dizziness, and tinnitus, that constant ringing in the ears. Doctors recommended surgery to remove the tumor.
Oh gosh, that sounds intense. Did she go through with it?
No, she wanted to try other options first. She went to one of Dr. Dispenza's workshops and really dedicated herself to the practices. She focused on cultivating feelings of peace, love, and just this sense of connection. She imagined herself as totally healthy and whole.
So similar to Daniel, she was shifting her energy away from the fear and focusing on healing.
Exactly. And during one of her meditations, something incredible happened. She described it as this bright flash of light and then this bluish-white light going into her ear. She felt this overwhelming sense of love, like the universe was flowing through her.
Wow, that sounds like a truly transformative experience.
Mm.
Did it help? Did her symptoms improve?
They did. Stacy's hearing came back, the tumor was gone, and she's been healthy ever since. It's an amazing example of the power of surrendering and trusting in a higher power to help us heal.
These stories are so inspiring. They really highlight the incredible potential we all have within us.
That's the whole point of Dr. Dispenza's work. We're not limited by our past or our present circumstances. We have this amazing ability to heal, transform, and create incredible lives for ourselves.
It's about understanding that we're not just victims, but powerful creators. We have the ability to shape our own reality.
That's it. And by understanding these principles and using these techniques, we can tap into that creative power and live healthier, more abundant, and more fulfilling lives.
This has been such a mind-expanding deep dive into becoming supernatural. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and these incredible stories.
It's been my pleasure. And remember, this is just the beginning. There's a whole universe of possibilities waiting for you.
If you're ready to dive deeper, we encourage you to visit www.ultimatemasters.org coaching or send a WhatsApp message to +256 771 324 119 for more information. We offer personalized coaching to help you unlock your full potential.
And be sure to check back daily for new episodes of the Becoming Ultimate Masters podcast. We'll continue to explore the mysteries of the mind and the incredible potential of human consciousness.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, the power to become supernatural is within you. Embrace it, cultivate it, and watch your life transform.